I figured out fashion this live is kind of we're testing ground here. I figured a kind of a weekend review, a landlord weekend review. We'll go over some of the topics that we've covered this week. We've covered an expansive number of topics um, all over the map here. I think the biggest point we touched on this week was migration, particularly the migration by the Haitians to the inner cities. We did cover a little bit of the Venezuelan gangs, I'm sure, but the Haitian migration into the smaller cities has been top of mind. So we talked a little bit about Sylacauga, Alabama, which was near and dear to my heart, considering where I'm from. I think I've shown you guys the map of where I'm from and where the Haitians are migrating to relative to where I'm from. And then, of course, there are the other cities, the Springfield, Ohio's, and things like that, that very similar to my town. Then later on in the week, we saw that there were even some other towns in Alabama. I think I covered the Alabama migration into cities like Talladega, which is maybe it's the next town over from me, the next county over from me. Then we covered, what else did we cover? Sylacauga, Alabama, Boaz, Alabama, Albertville, Alabama. All these small towns getting enriched with migration, particularly Haitian migration, which is rather interesting when you consider of all the immigrants you can bring, it might be the toughest people to assimilate into your town, particularly a small town. If it was New York City, it'll be full of Haitian communities, things like a Haitian people support system for them to easily assimilate into at least a Haitian culture within America. But now they're going to have to create a brand new Haitian culture in the towns of 4,000, 5,000, 12,000 people. So we're creating an immigration playlist here, which kind of has our greatest, oldies, goldies, greatest hits. Immigration will walk you through some of those. We took some phone calls from residents in some of these cities that were affected by immigration. Charleroi, Pennsylvania, Springfield, Ohio. You'll see these links here where you can listen to actual residents calling in, giving you the straight aside from what the mainstream media may be reporting. The residents will give you the unvarnished truth here. So you see a couple articles, some of our longer panels where we talked about migration. This was an interesting ride. It's not necessarily directly associated with migration, but this is a Wody Mac, a driver, a Uber driver, Manhattan, 4 o'clock in the morning. He's riding around trying to make a living there. This was our article on Sylacauga, Alabama, where they're bringing migrants, Haitian migrants there. We also we had Chicago Hustler Master. He jumped on. He's an Uber driver in Chicago. And he talked about the Venezuelans, and he said that the Venezuelans have taken over the building on 61st Street. We had some conflicting reports about that. Other people, even people on our panel, our host HB2N didn't think that the reporting by Hustler Master was all the way true. And then we looked at some of the migrant shelters the last couple of days, weeks or so. I've had a chance to take a look at some of the migrant shelters in Madison Square Garden. I went out to Roosevelt Avenue in Queens. We saw the Venezuelan drug dealers. You can see all of these videos if you like. The migrant shelters, migrants, National Guardsmen in Manhattan. Here's an interesting video. This is a Muslim Airbnb guest praying outside of my house. I don't know why. Tenants, I guess, sent me that. He didn't have to go outside to pray, but he decided to anyway. So there's that guy. You can see him praying in front of my house. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So again, just along the same lines of migration and the cultural changes that are occurring in his country, and we kind of taking a real time look at that. This is an article. This is a stream here from outside of one of the shelters in Clinton Hill. Here's some view of the Africans in Clinton Hill. We take a look.
Oh, that is amazing, huh? That is amazing, no? Look up here. That is amazing.
And that's outside the Clinton Hill shelter. You might remember there was a triple homicide there, as well as a black man killing one of the migrants there. He'll be going to prison. I think they charged him with a hate crime. We had a migrant worker, a shelter worker, come on stream. I met him. He was working at the Clinton Hill facility. I met him at a restaurant right around the corner. He came on the stream. This is an interesting stream to listen to. Although we messed up here and put it in 360, but either way, this is the first part of that interview. Well, this is the first part. Here's the second part, part 2. Oh, and then this was interesting. An inside view of a migrant whorehouse on Roosevelt Avenue. That's here.
Boy,
Fucking nice
every woman in your family is a hoe.
John,
Yeah.
you went into it. You went into
Well, I'm not gonna.
I'm in the whorehouse right here.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of them are. A lot of them are.
$40 though. Tomorrow.
John,
$40.
John went into it.
Massages.
John,
Tomorrow. I'll come back
John
tomorrow.
missed the
I promise.
train. Did John miss the train?
Look, these my people. These my people right here. Say hello. You
Oh,
train me in here.
damn.
You train me in here. I'll come back tomorrow, I promise. Let me see what it look like. Let me at least see what it look like. Yeah, right. Okay.
It's good.
It's a good bed. It's a good
Yeah, it's one of the available rooms there.
bed. Let me see outside.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this motherfucker bed hard.
Oh, God.
What else you got?
And to kind of show you what I do most of the days when I'm not on stream.
Oh, somebody been in there with her.
hurry up and come. Hurry up and come.
Sometimes I have to turn over the beds, so people have come and just mainly had sex, and so this is one of the beds that hadn't been turned over yet.
Somebody did it tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Mhm.
I promise you tomorrow.
Okay, the water.
And that was a view of the whorehouse in Queens, Roosevelt, Queens, by the way. What else do we have on the menu? I'm going to go through some of my Twitter feed. One of the things that we talked about, let me see if I can pull that up before I get to my emails. Again, this is kind of a week in review, some of the things we talked about. We're going to try to distill them here. Just a couple of things that were on my mind. Things I've seen, maybe we didn't cover, but was on my mind nonetheless. So I wanted to kind of paste style it. No freestyles over here. So we paste style them sometime, try to present some things that, kind of caught my interest over the last week or so. Here's right off the top of the bookmarks here. Take a look at this. This is a mother talking to her son. We're going to blow it up here so you guys can see it. Again, I approach all these things honestly from the standpoint of a landlord. And so you see the title, what should the mother do? That's not how I look at it. I'm looking at it from the standpoint of what would a landlord do. You see here, the caption, this is how my 16-year-old son that dropped out of school acts. He claims he's sliding. I guess that's going to shoot someone and spin blocks. At this point, I don't know what to do. 100. Somebody please give or help me advice. Let's take a look.
Spin a block right now.
What you mean? What if they follow you home?
So what? That's on them.
You can do what you want to do, but you have to think about
everybody.
everybody else,
So
though.
what,
You have to
man?
think about the people that live
I'm
at
finna
this
go
house.
spin
You're
a
not
block
thinking about
right
the people
now,
that live
bro.
here. You got
I'm finna go
siblings that
spin a
live here.
block right now.
You're not the only one that live here.
Ma, it just, you don't understand. I'm in this shit. Ain't no,
What you mean? I
ain't
don't
no getting
care.
out of
You
it.
can get out of it.
Ain't no
You
getting out of
choosing
it.
not to get out of it.
Ain't no getting
And
out
look
of
how
it.
you
I'm
dress.
in
You
it.
got all this mask and stuff
I'm
on, boy. You
in
don't
it. I'm
even
finna
look
go
right.
get to
You
it right
wasn't
now.
even raised
You
like
can't
that.
stop me from
You wasn't
gonna
even
get to
raised
it.
like that.
You
You
know what
better
I
stop walking up on me
You
because
know
I'm
what
not
I
none of them
do.
little boys.
You know
You
what I
better
do.
stop walking up on
You
me
know
and
what I
putting your
do.
hands in my
You
face.
know
I'm
what
not
I
none
do.
of them little boys.
You know what I do?
Stop
Put that
playing
camera
with
on
me.
my face.
Ain't no moving no camera out your face so everybody can see how you act, y'all. This is my 16-year-old
So
son.
what?
And this is what he does. He's
So,
going to spin
you
blocks.
gonna
What the fuck?
Really seems like his brain is fully formed. It may not have developed much, but I don't think it's going to develop much after this. He's not going to become Aristotle.
that even mean?
You
What
gonna
does
call my
spinning blocks
daddy,
even
uncle,
mean?
anybody you want to call? I'm out here. Can't
But what if
nobody
they
stop
follow
me.
you home? Your
Then
siblings live here.
Bro, so what? If it's gonna be
So what?
You don't
then.
care about your siblings. You don't care about
Well,
what happens
man,
to them. If they come
I'm
shoot up
getting
this
that.
house, then what?
Ain't
If
nobody
somebody
coming
follow
to
you
So what? He done told you twice.
home, then what? What are you supposed to do? This is my 16-year-old son. He don't go to
I'm spinning. Again, they live in someone's home unless she owns his home. They have a landlord. Imagine trying to deal with this mother and the landlord.
school. He walk around looking like this.
Again, just something I saw on the internet, and I had an opinion about it. Made me think, well, I've dealt with these type of people for a very long time, and it's to be quite a challenge here. Another thing I saw on Twitter, rather interesting. Let's see if I can pull this up for you. Oh yeah, this is very interesting. Earlier this week, we profiled a woman, and she was being interviewed by, I think the guy's name is Tyler or something. She was talking about how Black people don't loot mom and pops. They only loot Target, because they built those things and their family, and then blah blah blah. And we also called a couple Black people. I think it was a Black man down in Sylacauga, Springfield, and we asked him about the migrant situation. And in at least one of the cases, they got immediately political with us, started talking about Donald Trump. Donald Trump had never been mentioned, but yet they were talking about Donald Trump. And then the Blacks that we talked to expressed that there were really no problems. It's almost like you don't know what to believe if you were to just take one side, one point of view. Some of the residents, the white women that we talked to in Springfield and Sylacauga, they had totally different points of view about the Haitian migrants from the Blacks. And so here's one of the videos, again, that made me think that, man, this is interesting that these people, just a different way that people see it. And I posited that there could be an issue where it's racial, where the Haitian migrants look like Black people, very similar complexion, even though they don't have a similar culture and language. And the Black people are reflexively defending them to the detriment of their own neighborhoods and the country at large. And so I want you to hear this interview. This is from a lady in Springfield, Ohio. And she's basically, I'll let you hear from
a bunch of savages here. You sound like you're a bunch of savages here. Don't do that. That's degrading. If you want to wreck a town, go ahead and do that kind of crap. Really. Now, we got people, there are so many jokes on the internet right now. You better hide your cats, hide your dogs, hide your what? They might be getting eaten. Really? Come on. There's no reason for anyone to be saying that they are killing the ducks, taking them home, and cooking them. I'm sorry, it's not happening. We really aren't the center of the universe. You all are making us the center of the universe with the crazy ideal that people.
Now, if she had just stopped right there, she might have been convincing. You might have said, well, maybe she's telling the truth. Maybe it's all exaggerated. But she goes on, and then you start to kind of see what her desire is here. And I'll show that to you here. Let's go. We keep going, and I want you to see what angle she takes this.
People are eating dogs and cats and pets and whatever. Yeah, we got some bad drivers, but you got bad drivers everywhere.
You got bad drivers everywhere. That's how she boils it down. Bad drivers everywhere.
Really do.
How do you feel about the rumors that are spreading? Like, you're local here.
Okay. Literally pissed.
Now, why do you think she's pissed? Is she pissed because the rumors are true and she hates to see her town being cast in a negative light, even though it's true? Or does she have a political bent motivation? Let's see.
And I shouldn't say that, but it's hurt. It's hurting. I'm a person of color. although I am not Haitian, but I'm still a person of color. So
Why does she feel the need to say I'm not Haitian? I'm genuinely curious to know. No one asked her if she was Haitian. No one assumed she was Haitian. No one really cares if she's Haitian. They just merely asked her about the town and, the news is being reported.
when people come and look at us as a whole, I don't look any different from the next person. So people assume that I'm Haitian.
Okay. So she's worried about the negative light of the Haitians will be cast on her. And that is what I speculated that many of the blacks who have to act like they don't know things as it relates to this Haitian migration is because they know that they're very close to the Haitians. Maybe in genetics, maybe not culture, but definitely in genetics. Clearly the look of them. She may look Haitian, depending on your point of view. And so naturally, she's reflexively defensive. She's concerned that if we begin to tell the truth about the Haitians, that we may one day begin to tell the truth about her and her people and the problems that they cause. So she doesn't protect the Haitians out of love for the Haitians. She protects them out of love for self, her own individual self. She doesn't want to solve the problems in her community. She just doesn't want to be cast in the same light. So she'll duck her head in the sand and act like these things don't exist. And it always makes me wonder if the people that were coming in that causing all the problems were white, causing problems for black people. Would she be so charitable in her, outlook on them? I don't think so. And we're going to play a couple videos later showing you how young black women with no attachment to slavery, Jim Crow, anything, are hell-bent on tearing this country down. The women, not just the men. So let's finish this video.
Talk to me first before you make that assumption. I'm standing here with a box of bakery goods. I'm not suffering. I mean, seriously, all jokes aside, there's life is.
Notice she said, I'm not suffering. But what about your fellow residents? The ones who may be impacted by this Haitian migration? Have their cost of insurance gone up? This is a town of 50,000 people. They're now having car crashes, like unbelievable car crashes. I played you the clip from the fire marshal in Charleroi, where he said he's never seen this many car crashes. Usually they're responding to medical emergencies, other kind of emergencies. But here in Charleroi, it's all these inexplicable car crashes into buildings and running over people in some cases. And here this lady is saying, I'm not impacted at all. Let's just see exactly what she said here.
I'm standing here with a box of bakery goods. I'm not suffering. I mean, seriously, all jokes aside, there's life is what people make it. Everybody has the right to try to live the American dream to the best of their ability.
Everybody, presumably in the world, because she did not qualify, has the right to live the American dream. Everybody. At what cost? At the cost to whom? I would ask her. Right? The American dream it didn't come from people sleeping, dreaming. It came from people doing and working. And what of the people who can't come here and maintain those standards? Do they still are they still owe the American dream if they can't even sustain and contribute to keeping that dream alive? These are questions that we're going to have to ask, and we'll probably be facing a lot of these questions. And I don't think this lady here is, let's just say, worldly enough to understand the effects of mass third world migration.
If they make it to the U.S., no, that's all. So much crap going until the orange guy in the.
As they said, if they make it to the U.S., if the whole world can make it to the U.S., then they deserve the right to the American dream. We'll listen to it one more time.
Live the American dream to the best of it. Everybody has the right to. Life is what people make it. Everybody has the right to try to live.
Is life in Haiti what they made it? I repeat it again. I'll let her repeat it.
People make it. Everybody's a baker, sweet board. I'm not suffering. I mean, seriously, all jokes.
Why do you think she's not suffering? Is it because of the work of her forefathers? Or does she wildly just attribute her lack of suffering through her effort? This overweight woman attributes her lack of suffering, I guess, to her own doing. No one else contributed. And that mindset leads her into this next thought.
Life is what people make it.
Life is what you make it. And the Haitians have made their life in Haiti. And they don't like it. They couldn't make anything better. Now, we can blame whoever you want to blame. That's fine. But they couldn't make anything better. They couldn't. Life is what you make it.
Everybody has the right to try to live the American dream.
They do. You can be in Africa or Haiti, and you can try to live the American dream right there from Africa or Haiti. But her mind is that you get to try it here.
To the best of their ability. If they make it to the U.S., now that's all. So much crap going until the orange guy in the hillbilly. And
She's talking about Trump and her Senator J.D. Vance. Trump and the hillbilly.
That alone went and told all them stories on the debate.
You mean your senator?
Whatever. He's the hillbilly, okay?
You mean your senator?
He is never even. Can you come to Springfield before?
Can you come to Springfield? She wants him to come. And I bet you that if he came, she would want to show him this curated view of Springfield that only included probably the white areas, the nice areas. If he went down and looked at the reservoir basin or whatever the lady told us the name of the place was, if he went there, she probably wouldn't like what he would report. She said he was racist for looking at it. If he went to some of those marts where the lady tells us that they are segregating the whites in the Haitian stores, not allowing the whites in and making the whites feel uncomfortable, do you think she'd want him to report on that? She'd probably be okay with that, to be quite honest with you. Segregation and all. Anyway, that was just an interesting clip, which I think kind of repeated itself over and over when we talked about the migration. There were some people willing to sacrifice the American dream so that everyone else in the world can have the ability to access the American country, our borders, and all of the benefits that our forefathers, our parents, grandparents have fought to provide for us. She's willing to share it with the whole world. And I'm going to get into another video to kind of give you an idea. And, partly what I think is people like this that have never built anything, they don't understand how hard it is to build something and maintain it. And if you've never built anything, have never maintained anything, particularly maintenance. I'm a landlord, by the way. I am John Galt, the landlord. And I've talked all the time about as a landlord. Man, maybe I should show you some pictures. Let me see if I can find some pictures about, just doors. I've talked many, many times just about interior doors, about just the maintenance of doors where people go in and out of the doors. They break them, tear them up, knock them down, forget their codes, kick them in, blah, blah, blah. That's just a door. I can't tell you how many doors, bedroom doors, I replaced over the last 20 years. How many bedroom doors have you replaced in the last 20 years? I didn't kick one door in. So who kicked all my bedroom doors in? I didn't do all these things. But when you build things or you maintain things, you understand that you just can't share it with the world. Because doors, locks, everything have life cycles. You open the door 150 times, 200, 300, 400 times. The latches, the turning mechanisms in the door handles, they're going to wear out. And what she says is that, hey, we can bring a whole bunch of people, the whole world over here. Let them open and close the doors, walk all over the house. And who's going to maintain all it? Who's going to maintain the infrastructure? Do you remember when the last week we covered about the lady in Springfield, Ohio, where she said she stinks now. The town just stinks. And she said that Haitians are shitting, pissing outside, the sewage overflowing, they just can't take. The infrastructure wasn't built for 17 people to live in a 2-bedroom house, maybe only 1 bathroom. Who's going to upgrade the plumbing when we have 15 people living in one house? Has she even considered that? I doubt it. Let's go into some more articles. Let's see if I can find some doors to show you what people just do to doors. If I can find one, if I will, I'll show it. Hopefully I can bring one up just to damage to the doors that these people do. Doors and windows. They cut the screens out of your windows so they can smoke, or too lazy to go downstairs, so they hand things out of the window and stuff like that. Let me see if I can find some doors here. I don't want to waste too much time on looking for a door. We have too much content to cover. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's see. Back to my Twitter feed here. A couple of things I wanted to expound on here. Let's see, what was that? That was there. All right. And here's another item from my Twitter feed here. Again, you know, as a landlord, I go back to ask you, the black lady that you just saw on camera, would you want to rent to a person like that? Kind of too stupid to see what's happening all around her. Makes you wonder. Here's an interesting article coming out of New York City. It's very interesting because basically the federal government has more or less taken over the New York City Police Department. Interesting, right? Let's take a look here. The blacks who were once in control. You remember Eric Adams once called New York City, his administration, like the chocolate administration or something to that effect. He said, you know, people are just jealous because what are we doing up here is black people. That's what he said. Let's take a look.
Police Commissioner Edward Caban has resigned.
Mayor Adams has named a former FBI agent and Homeland Security expert to run the NYPD on an interim basis, Tom Donlin. Political reporter Marsha Kramer has been covering these developments all week. She's the woman with...
The FBI told Eric Adams to appoint a former FBI guy to be the police guy. They've taken over the department. He doesn't run the department anymore. If you're the mayor and you don't control the police, and they basically cut the schools from up under you, what are you doing? What is your job? This guy needs to resign so someone that can actually run the city can be in control. Otherwise, he's just an outpost of the federal government.
With the sources, she joins us now with more, Marsha.
Alice and Dick, it's important to know that the new interim head of the NYPD is someone from outside the department. My sources tell me that it was an ask from prosecutors who wanted to make sure that the person running the agency would do nothing to impede their investigation wherever it takes them. The mayor made the announcement from Gracie Mansion, where he is in isolation after testing positive for COVID.
A short time ago,
you're going to call it fake disease. When it running and hide and chose a fake ass disease to hide behind. This is the cowardice of these people.
I accepted the resignation of the NYPD Commissioner, Edward Caban. He concluded that this is the best decision at this time.
It was the answer to the question hanging over the mayor ever since federal agents raided Caban's home and seized his cell phone, along with his twin brother James and other police officials, in a probe set to focus on possible corruption and the role of James Caban in nightlife enforcement.
I respect his decision, and I wish him well.
Although the dramatic sweep, which also hit other members of the mayor's inner circle and was said to involve a different set of allegations, happened more than a week ago, Caban resisted calls to step aside, insisting he had done nothing wrong, even telling me personally that the rumors of him resigning were, quote, false. Apparently, he finally concluded he had no other option. In a statement to members of the department, Caban said in part, quote, my complete focus has always been on the NYPD, the department and people I love and have dedicated over 30 years of service to. However, the news around recent developments has created a distraction for our department.
Now, this guy's brother was running around shaking businesses, shaking down businesses, nightclubs, other businesses run by people of color. It shows you how incestuous these people are. They prey on their own. And that is why this guy had to step down, because his brother, using the color of his authority as a police commissioner, his brother's authority, was running around shaking down businesses. Hey, you don't want any problems from my brother, pay me, right? This is the kind of, when you vote in a bunch of people based on their color and color alone, and when they govern by their color and color alone, this is what you get. All right. This is it.
And I am unwilling to let my attention be on anything other than our important work or the safety of the men and women of the NYPD. Caban, the first Hispanic to lead the department, was sworn in as the 46th commissioner of the NYPD.
It's a lot of color up there. A lot of color. A lot of first this, first that, second this, second that. But no mention of competence or ability.
In July 2023, replacing Keyshawn Sewell. Caban's interim replacement will be Bronx native Thomas Donlin, a former FBI agent, member of the Joint Terrorism Task Force, and one-time director of the State Office of Homeland Security. He investigated the 1993 Twin Towers bombing and al-Qaeda attacks on U.S. embassies in Africa and the U.S. coal in Yemen. In a statement, Donlin said, quote, my goals are clear. Continue the historic progress decreasing crime and removing illegal guns from our communities, uphold the highest standards of integrity and transparency, and support our dedication.
My goals are clear. Continue the historic progress decreasing crime in New York. Is the crime down? I didn't know. And removing illegal guns from our community. How did the illegal guns get there? Are they walking the neighborhood, menacing and threatening people? Is that what they're doing? This is the mindset of these people, where they
dedicated officers who put their lives on the line every day to keep us safe.
Tom joins a team at One Police Plaza that is relentlessly dedicated to public safety and protecting New Yorkers. That is why New York is the safest big city in the world.
Now, Donlin's experience in fighting terrorism will stand him in good stead. The NYPD has some high-profile events coming up that will require deployment of security assets. They include the United Nations General Assembly, where Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected, the Jewish high holidays, and the one-year anniversary of the October 7th Hamas attack. Meanwhile, late today, Caban's lawyers issued a statement saying he had been informed by prosecutors he is not a target and will be cooperating with the government. Guys?
Marsha, it certainly feels like the heat is on right now. How is this going to affect the other officials who were involved in the federal raid?
Well, I don't actually think that they have to resign or they will resign. Remember, nobody has been charged with anything or any wrongdoing at this part. But remember this, you know, I think that officials concluded that it wouldn't be good for Edward Caban to be running the department when his brother, his twin brother, is a target of the probe or is being looked at for problems.
A lot more to be seen here. And certainly we have to find out what these investigations are really all about. And that will be coming.
I think that will be.
It will be. Thanks,
Marsha, thank you.
PBA is leading the NYPD. This remains a uniquely challenging period for police officers on the streets. The NYPD is severely understaffed. We need the next police commissioner to continue working with us to face these challenges head on from day one.
Well, reaction, as you can imagine, to the resignation is rippling through the halls of power in New York.
Lisa Rosner spoke with members of the city council.
City Council convened Thursday. Most members, like the chair of the Public Safety Committee, Yusef Salam, said they supported Police Commissioner Edward Caban's decision to resign effective.
This is the Central Park 5 guy. He's now a city councilman. Went off dead prison. The Democrats used him to taint Donald Trump. And they rewarded him with a city council member position, basically a make-work job. Again, as I call it, the long welfare handoff, where they give people fake-ass jobs and make them feel important, let them put a suit on, dress up a monkey, as I call it, and make him think he's doing something productive. When in reality, he's just like a puppet. They wind him up, give him a piece of paper and tell him what to read. These are not his own thoughts.
Effective Friday.
It's important that we lead with integrity, and for Commissioner Caban to say, you know what, I'm going to do this. It's been recommended. I think it's a noble thing to do.
And we still don't know what happened, so we're all waiting for that. But you can't have the department under scrutiny like this.
Some council members we spoke with approved of Caban's record and are disappointed.
I'm sorry to see him go. I think he was an effective leader for the department.
Very disappointing. We had high hopes. The first Latino police commissioner.
Anybody who honestly looks at the department for the last year knows that the department was well run.
Councilmember Tiffany Caban of No Relation said the resignation is only the start of needed changes.
We have structural problems with our police department, and it shows in year-over-year records in police brutality misconduct cases.
We asked if resignations should also be made by top city leaders whose homes were raided last week by the FBI.
There's a shroud around so many folks at top levels. It's really hard to move forward.
This is the black socialist that they have in office as well. He's a stutterer, and it's no problem. Joe Biden stutters, they say. You can get over that, but he's just not a very serious guy. And he has a racial hard-on that,
Pretending that's not the case. And so the mayor has to still and had to do something. And maybe this is a step to help restore trust.
Everyone stopped short of saying the mayor himself should step down.
I think the mayor should step down.
I would love to see a city that is run by a mayor that is delivering for everyday New Yorkers.
Let's see what happens. I think it's a challenging situation
because of the magnitude of the situation and the number of investigations going on right now within the administration. The distractions are still going to be there.
The council speaker added she hopes, at least for now, Caban's resignation alleviates a little bit of pressure on the NYPD. At City Hall, Lisa Rosner, CBS News, New York.
And that's coming out of New York there with Totally Unraveling. It's going to be very interesting to see how they handle this situation with the migrants flowing in. It almost makes you wonder, though, that the feds have now put their man, the man that they can trust, to be in charge when whatever comes down with these migrants. They start putting these migrants out of shelters. Or any of the violence that may occur leading up to the election. Now they have their man in charge who can take orders directly from the White House. An establishment guy. A guy that's going to do what's best to maintain the establishment. So that's interesting. Very interesting. I started looking into this immigration thing, and people kept coming back to me and they say, but you got to focus on the Jewish organizations, the Catholic organizations that are bringing these people in here. And here's what I found. There's an organization by the name of HIAS or something like that. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of it. Here's HIAS. HIAS, who we are. What does HIAS stand for? Let's see if we can find what HIAS stands for. Who we are, HIAS. Drawing on our Jewish values and history. HIAS stands for a world in which refugees find welcome, safety, and opportunity. Our people, let's see who the HIAS is and maybe some of their history. What is the history of hire? Let me zoom in for the people that may be looking on your phones here. HIAS is the world's oldest refugee agency, formerly incorporated as the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society in 1903. That founding moment represented a continuation of several organizations' predecessors that had worked through the 1880s and 90s to assist Jewish people fleeing pogroms in Russia and Eastern Europe. While those arriving in the United States were refugees, the world did not yet have a legal concept for people who needed safe refuge outside their homelands. That was the origin of HIAS. If you've never heard of HIAS, that's who they are. And what do they do? Let's figure out, what does HIAS do? Sounds very noble. They help out refugees. Well, look at there. What are these refugees doing here? Was that refugees crossing over some water? Where was that picture? What is that picture right there? Center for are they crossing water right there? Right there. Center for Refugee Policy. I'll zoom in. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it once I zoom in, but it looks like they were coming through. Well, this looks like another refugee, a migrant trail of tears of sort. So here's some key action areas for HIAS: resettle refugees. Interesting. What does that mean? Let's see. Through our network of local resettlement partners, HIAS welcomes resettled refugees and helps them build their lives in communities across the United States. There you go. A family evacuated from Afghanistan settles into their new home in Tulsa, Oklahoma, after they were resettled by B'nai Imuna congregation, a HIAS resettlement partner. That's very interesting. Resettlement is a viable option for less than 1% of the 110 million people worldwide. Blah, 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 blah. And we see 6,000 people resettling in new communities in 2022. 27 resettlement partners help refugees build new lives in 30 metropolitan areas around the country. How much have we covered any of these metropolitan areas? I'm not sure. And on about HIAS, but there's something else about HIAS that you probably did not know. And let me see if I can find that. Here we go. HIAS. This is HIAS again. HIAS. Let me see if I can show you this. Again, HIAS. Jewish organizations uniting against dangerous conspiracies. Let's fight these conspiracies. This is February 5th, 2024. And that's your Honorable Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secretary of Homeland Security. This week, the U.S. House of Representatives is expected to vote on the impeachment of Mayorkas. The House has not made a serious impeachment effort since 1876. Today, 17 Jewish national organizations released a statement expressing their concern over the impeachment attempt and the anti-Semitic. Wait a minute, Mayorkas is Jewish? Okay. White supremacist conspiracy theories that underlie it. The statement was organized by Jewish Council, blah, 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 all these Jewish organizations. The statement highlights the danger of the language of invasion. That's a bad word, by the way. And replacement, another bad word, used by House members involved in proceedings against Senator Mayorkas. This uses the rhetoric of the Great Replacement Conspiracy Theory, which states that Jewish people favor immigration laws in order to replace native-born citizens. This same xenophobic white supremacist theory motivated the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting. I remind you that Charleroi is a suburb or not far outside of Pittsburgh. Now, who was Mayorkas? And why are they coming to the defense of Mayorkas, you might wonder. And let's see, who is Mayorkas? Mayorkas. And here's an article from 2020. And this is from the highest. Highest congratulates board member Alejandro Mayorkas on being named the President-elect Joe Biden to be the new Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Okay, so Mayorkas would be the first Latino, I'm sure he's the first Jewish Latino as well, to head the department that implements and manages U.S. immigration policies. A Cuban-born immigrant who arrived in the United States with his parents as a refugee, Cuban-born, Jewish, Hispanic, and he's in charge of Homeland Security. He used to be a board member of HIAS, the resettlement agency. So I found that to be very interesting as well, that our Secretary of Homeland, is it Homeland Defense? Yeah, Homeland Defense, Homeland Security, whatever. He was once a guy in charge of bringing the refugees in. I think you can see where his heart lies there. Anyway, that was enough about HIAS. You can do further digging into Mayorkas and HIAS if you so choose. Here's something else about HIAS, or more or less. Let me just present it for you, and then we can just discuss it quickly. Yeah, again, this is an immigration kind of tangential topic here. HIAS and other groups asked Biden administration to extend protected status to Israelis in the U.S. The U.S. has said that they will extend TPS, which allows non-citizens to remain in the U.S. when their home country is dangerous. So right now, Palestine and Israel at war. So the Israelis want their TPS extended so they don't have to go back to Israel right now. And I guess they want the same thing extended to the Palestinians. So there is rather interesting about HIAS immigration and resettlement. So that may answer some of the questions about the things that you're seeing. Here is another article. This is from a long time ago. But, you know, hey, people don't change overnight. And here's an article from a while back. Hopefully you can see this. I'll have to share my screen with you. And here's an article. It's from the Gateway Pundit. They're reporting from the U.S. Patriot. Liberal activist is brutally raped in Haiti by a black man, blames white man. When was this? This was published 10 years ago, almost exactly. Here's a woman that was raped in Haiti. And then just like we saw the white people that had their son or whatever killed by the Haitian immigrant, he wishes it had been a white man that had killed his son instead. She went to Haiti to prove that the image, the portrayal of black men as savages was not accurate. She was brutally raped. And of course, she blamed white men for the violence. So that kind of gives you kind of the gist. You can look her up. There was another article as well coming out of Haiti. I mean, you know, again, we're bringing these people into small towns. Police departments, things like that, are not going to be able to handle these people. Let's see. Here's another article that I sent myself. I wanted to bring this to you. Here's an interesting article. Another person raped in Haiti. We'll take a look at her and we'll see how she's turned out. And again, you know, I kind of commend this lady here, Malia Willard Apollon, as a Haitian activist for women's rights and domestic violence. She's co-founder of Commission of Women's Victims for Victims, an organization that provides services and support to violence against women, named a CNN hero in 2012. And what is she a hero for? Let's see if we can find her. She is a native Haitian who was motivated to start an organization after being raped in 1992 and 2003. She's a two-time survivor. In 2010, she was a victim of attempted rape as well. So about every 7 years or so, these people attempt to rape her. 7 or 8 years, give or take. Whenever the moon hits, I guess. With her late husband, her husband is dead. We're going to find out why in a minute. She has one daughter who was also raped. Wow, that is amazing. It's a threefer there. That means 2 successful rapes, 1 attempted, and her daughter also being raped. That's 3 successes and an attempted rape there. Her husband was also beaten to death after trying to save her from being raped. So that's 4 tragedies there. Her family's experience with rape and sexual assault has been a major factor in her work to help Haitian women, and she does that, I am presuming, from Haiti. Through the earthquakes and all, they need people like her in Haiti, and salute to her for staying there and doing the work that needs to be done as opposed to running. She could have easily run. She probably would have gotten asylum by her experience. She could have claimed some rape being the basis of her demand for asylum, and it probably would have been granted to her. But she cast down her bucket where she was, and she went to work. And kudos to her for helping her fellow countrymen in fighting domestic violence here. So kudos to her. I have to give her credit for that. I don't think anyone would take credit for that. And Haiti would be a better place. More people like her stay there as opposed to leaving Haiti, coming to easier shores, easier life here in America. Sometimes you have to do the hard work. If you want to improve your country, you can't do it from abroad. There you go. A couple more articles before I get out of here today, and I'll ask you guys if you want to join the panel. It's been a slow week on Airbnb, though, I'll tell you. Not slow in terms of business, but in terms of the, the back and forth with the tenants, the hullabaloo, as they would say. Not many issues. People haven't really caused any problems this week. But, there are a lot of downsides to Airbnb, even when things are going well. And I want to talk about that. Maybe not today. I'll probably do a stream specifically to that. And here's a picture that I saw a while back, but I wanted to get back to it. I was looking for it. It just happened to come back up on my stream again. And let me see if I can minimize it just a little where you guys can see it all. All right. I think this is it. All right, let's take a look at this picture. I went to Freaknik when, back in the day, when Freaknik first started. People always talk about, what kind of woman you want. You have all these talks on the manosphere and all that kind of stuff. We don't get into much of that here, but I do believe that, you should behave prudently, and I think that if you do so throughout your life, that doesn't mean you can't have fun. You don't have to be a prude. But I do think, you don't want to get too far out on the extremes because you may regret what you do out on the extremes 10, 15 years from now. So let me show you a picture from Freaknik and from 20 years ago. The lady's probably my age now, and here is a picture of her spread eagle, or maybe not spread eagle, but whatever. And an iconic picture from Freaknik here, as you can see it. There you go. And some of the text on the tweet was, I wonder where she is now. Me too. I wonder where she is now. What's up, Nas 415? I was seeing that, speaking since I saw you in the audience, I was hearing or seeing that there are a lot of Hondurans in San Francisco out your way. I want to get your thoughts on that. What do you think are the Hondurans? It's a particularly tough group of people as well. They may not be Venezuelans, but they're pretty damn tough, I would say. And so, anyway, they're in San Francisco. You might be tough times are ahead. The Venezuelans and the Hondurans, jungle people. I guess I know Honduras have jungles. I'm not sure about Venezuela. Anyway, a couple other articles I wanted to focus on before I get out of here today. Let's see what we got here. And here's one right here. We talked about Tua, well, I can't pronounce his last name, the NFL football player that was injured during a football game. I'm not sure if many of you are football fans. It's not a big deal if you are or aren't, because this is not about football per se. But this is about business in a sense that, I've long said that the NFL is in trouble. They're facing it from a health angle, from a racial angle, because many of their players are black and many of these players end up debilitated afterwards. And Tua Tagovailoa, however you pronounce his name, may be the most high-profile case in that he keeps having these concussions. And I'm going to see if I can show you some of these concussions here right now. And if you have a queasy stomach here, feel free to look away. Football is not your thing. Again, this is not necessarily about football, but about the nature of owning a business where you're dealing with a lot of minorities. You're dealing with a lot of minorities in your organization, and if they get injured or if there are any type of issues where their issues or their point of view on the issues may not be in alignment with yours, your business can be severely impacted. Let's take a look. Here's one of the concussions that Tua received over the years.
With the grain, and down he goes. Slung down in his own.
And you see his response here. You can see his hands. I'm not sure if you see it, but his hands go still there. There's some kind of neurological malfunction or whatever going on there to being slammed to the ground. This was a couple of years ago. And at this point, people were demanding that this guy retire due to, the injuries. And this happened, on live TV, maybe a nationally televised game. But nevertheless, this is very disconcerting to see someone basically having this kind of reaction on TV, live TV. And this is the star quarterback. Better yet, how do the players respond to seeing someone have this kind of reaction? He's not throwing up gang signs there. Hey, this man is hurt, and there is some kind of medical terminology for what he's doing there. Okay? I can't play too much of that video. I don't want to play too much of that video. So what I will do is I'll now play the next video. And this is Tua again. And this is Tua from the other night.
4.
Tua
steps up. He's going to run for the first down. And takes a
and he's injured again. And you see his right arm. I think that is his right arm. It's going to flex again.
shot.
There it is. He's not pointing at anything anymore. That arm is flexed from some brain traumatic injury there.
At the 6-yard line. Hamlin hit him.
He's hurt. And what's interesting is that the guy that hit him, we'll back it up again. The guy that, I wouldn't even say that the guy hit him. Tua more or less engaged the guy. As you can see, Tua is leading with his head here. This is a guy that died on the field a year or so ago. So here we have two players severely prone to some kind of injuries. And both of them have experienced traumatic injuries live on TV. And so this leads me to think that the NFL, under the pressure, that they just can't, I don't think they can sustain this much longer with the more middle class, affluent players. The players like Tom Brady are not going to allow their children to play this game. It's a dangerous game played by very undisciplined people. And I think that these type of injuries are par for the course now. And with the racial angle of it, I don't see how it goes forward. And when you say, well, why do I call it undisciplined people? I did a whole stream about this whole Tua run right here. As you can see, the yellow line, he should be on the ground at this point. There was no need for him to go beyond that yellow line and risk injury. The yellow line is the goal. Anything beyond that yellow line is like icing on the cake. You need the yellow line. Once he got to the yellow line, he could have easily and safely slid on the grass, and no one could have touched him. He wouldn't have even been hurt. But if you watch the video, he barrels his head, the most valuable asset on his body. That's what the NFL pays him for, his head. He's a quarterback. But he ducks his head like a running back into this man's thighs. You know, he could have, you know, as you can see, he engaged the man. The man hardly delivered a hit to him. He hurt himself. Very rarely do you see quarterbacks hurt himself, and I think this is more or less it typifies like the lack of nuance in America today. You know, the quarterback position should be a game of a position of nuance, and it's just being played by brutes where they're running into each other. Like they're just clubbing each other. The quarterback, that's just not the position for a quarterback. Anyway, just my thoughts about Tua Tagovailoa. And I think the NFL will pressure this guy to retire. And they're going to have to work out some kind of package to pay him so he can go away quietly and retire. And because there's a lot of money on the line, and I think he's going to want that money, rightfully so. And they're going to have to figure out a way to give him that money and alleviate the risk of him dying on the field, right? That's the business risk. No one wants to go to a game and see a man dying on the field. And so you'll see this one headline that just came into my newsfeed here. Can NFL helmet caps actually work? What they're talking about are the NFL caps that they're putting on helmets now. They only use them for practice. And it's just like basically a mattress pad on top of your helmet. And so this article from the New York Times, interesting that the New York Times is taking an interest in the NFL. I'm sure it's not for benevolent reasons. They're questioning, can the helmet caps even work? Can they stop the concussions? The answer is no. But they know that. And they are more or less deceiving the thought in the parents, the women who have to allow their sons to go out and play football. Do the helmets even work? The helmet caps. There's nothing that's going to work. If you're in a car crash, you can have a helmet on in a car crash. You're still going to have a concussion. And these players are effectively in car crashes every day. So, hell, or every play in some cases. So they're going to have concussion. It's the nature of the business. You want to get rid of it, just get rid of it. But that's what it is, right? That's what it is. Here is a tweet coming out of this is coming out of Springfield, Ohio. Rather interesting. I'll let you see this. Share this tab instead.
Printing here. We are cat friendly.
Oh, look, it's the cat.
Yeah, we bought the building about 10 years ago, started printing here for our art business. We sell artwork all over the world. So in this time right now, we're using it to print yard signs. These say hate has no home here. It goes to our fundamental freedom that we all, everybody here has the same freedom and the same rights, and everybody is welcome here. Everybody should be safe here. Everyone should be able to make their home here. No one should have to be threatened. No one should have to be scared. That's what it means to me. And that's why we're printing it. We have traveled a lot, and we've been in countries with totalitarian regimes. Vicky has been in Russia and been questioned by the KGB, and we were in Serbia during Milosevic. We know what a dictatorship looks like. We know where that leads. So we're at a crossroads in this country right now, and we're in a fight right now for it. I mean, we really are. So.
And now it's our neighbors.
Yeah, now it's our neighbors.
It's very personal.
It is very personal. The folks right across the street are several Haitian families.
Yeah.
And They shouldn't have to be afraid.
We're happy. We're friends with business owners that hire Haitians. We're friends with people who own places that they frequent. We're neighbors with them. Most of us are fine. There's that loud group, but then what happened was it got amplified. And the floodgates opened. And
wait a minute. What did I just see? What is that? What's that behind them? I can't see it. Does that say Waltz Harris? No way. These aren't Democrat voters, are they? Welcoming in the replacements, are they? They can create all the signs they want, but the Haitians can't read them. You can create all your hate has no home here, but the Haitians just need a home. That may be the only fucking word they understand on your sign. It's home. And here. They're going to make their home here. And, you know, as I was watching this video, I was just wondering, they love these people so much. Hate is no home there for them. Why don't they invite some Haitians to live with them? They never do. They're going to live in Haiti. They've been to Haiti and they've been in all these third world countries that they speak of. Why didn't they live there? They like the Haitians so much. He's bragging about his Haitian neighbor. You could have Haitians on all sides of you.
what happened was it got amplified. And the floodgates opened, and you can't put a cork in a floodgate. I think this town is stronger and more resilient than the hate. Actually, I know it is.
Like, you know, in the grocery store, and you know, people don't know who's friendly.
Look at this nice grocery store, furniture store. Their day-to-day, they have no dealings with the Haitians coming in their stores, stealing out of their stores. They have no dealing with the Haitians, the behavior of the Haitians in the schools. We heard the testimony of the lady from Springfield, talked about there was a 16-year-old in her 10-year-old niece's class. We heard about the 19-year-old Haitian beating up a 12 or 14-year-old. These people, maybe these women don't have children. Maybe their children are grown and they're not in the public school system. But these women are basically exempt from the problem that everyone else has to deal with. And so they can put up the signs, hate has no home here.
It's a great idea.
I'm like trying to encourage people to come visit Springfield.
I say that to anyone.
Come visit Springfield. Come see our
Spend a few
community.
days. Spend a few days here. I keep telling people.
I guarantee you'll see lots of cats and geese.
But what about Haitians? Well, I see a lot of Haitians. If I come to Springfield to see Springfieldians, will I see Haitians? If I want to see Haitians, I go to Haiti, right? That's where they are. That's what they authentic Haitian culture. Why would I want to go to Springfield to see Haitians? And the Haitian lady the Springfield lady who talked about what's going on in Haiti, what did she say? She said it's not that great over there. She said the town stinks. The other lady chiming in from the background, yeah, the chickens walking around. I saw a Haitian holding a dead chicken upside down. Somebody's lying here, or somebody's being naive. One of the two. But I think I trust the ladies who, unprovoked, when they took our phone call, and you can find that video on our playlist, she told us to straight. I think I trust her. I think I trust the lady who, with her boyfriend, talked about the Haitians hanging out at the grocery stores, making the environment unfriendly, unsafe. I think that's the person that I would trust. And so now it makes me wonder, why are these people lying? Why are these people telling us something that they know presumably is not true? Anyway, very interesting. Very interesting. Here is another article, and I think I'll end it with this one on here. And I think we'll go over to the other stream, and I really want to cover, if you guys are interested, we can cover the highest, the Jewish organization that is partly responsible for bringing the the migrants into the Haitian migrants in particular into these small towns. But here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll end it with. And here is a clip, I think, from a Chicago police. A clip from a Chicago police officer. Let me make sure I'm sharing that with you. And we'll end it there. Maybe I'll take a couple questions. I'll look through the comments. And if you want to jump on the panel for 15 minutes or so, we'll do that as well. Let's see, what do we have here? All right. Here's the video. Chicago police officer, again, talking about the migrants.
Hi. I just wanted to do a quick update on the video I made of the Venezuelans posing as lawn care workers. I can't get to everybody's comments because it'll make this video way too long. I already tried to, and it was way too long. So there was a lot of incidents prior to what had happened, which led me up to getting extremely pissed and mad. I wasn't assuming. I knew that they were Venezuelans. I knew who they worked for. The first incident was them trying to drop off a bunch of mattresses by the name of someone starting with the C. Second incident was my son was home alone. They kicked in the door. My son called and said, "Mom, there's a white guy here with a bunch of Mexicans, about 7 Mexicans," which my son thought they were Mexicans at the time, but we know who they were, saying they're going to start bagging up all of our stuff in trash bags and throw it in his truck. So this man is ruthless. He is capable of doing anything. He's not all innocent and sweet the way he makes himself seem on these videos. If he's capable of kicking in doors and stealing your things because he used to be a former Chicago police officer, as he commented in one of his videos, I guess he believes he's above the law and got pissed off when the sergeant told him he wasn't kicking us out. He had to go through the proper channels. And if you guys want to know how I obtained this house, I'll get to that in another video. So obviously I was extremely mad because everybody, I mean, I don't know if they keep trying to cover this up because of the election, but a lot of people know about Jocelyn Nagare from Houston, Texas, the 12-year-old that got essayed and unalived and left without clothing in a ditch for her mother to find her by 2 Venezuelans. And this little girl, it was about my daughter's age. So when I found out that they chose to go through my daughter's window on the top floor when there was open windows with the screens on them on the lower floor, I was extra mad, as the judge and everybody agreed with me in court would be. And the judge did tell me that I can press charges and move forward with that. If it was your child and they're going through your daughter's window, I believe everybody would have been just as angry as me. But we are not a stand your ground city. This is a sanctuary city for the immigrants, so they are protected. We cannot touch them or do anything to them. So a lot of people didn't want to believe me because they said, how did they do this if they had no ladder? This was not the same people. They were obviously different people. And when I was obviously asking them if they were the people was because I was not here. My brother was here at the time, but my brother did take pictures. So there is them with the ladder. That's the mom and with the kid. And that's him leaving. I will post clearer pictures from my phone. There's a police report that everybody kept saying, why didn't you make a police report? I did. So me and my kids have been homeless. If you guys want to know my story, I will share that. I also encourage other people to share their stories about being homeless and the struggles that we had to go through with our children as single mothers. So this case was not under my name. It was under someone else's name. So we would have won the case, but the person that was representing me or us didn't know that he was supposed to omit the evidence that we had, so they couldn't use it. But the judge did see the evidence, and she did say she would have sided with me, and she did agree with us. So they were successful to get us evicted on September 11th. Here's the papers. That's Manage Chicago Inc., which they work for. This is September 11th, 2024. Obviously, I can't get to everybody's comments now, but one of the main
Let's see what she has to say here.
ones was wait till wintertime. I guess mainstream media does not show a lot of things, truthful things that are going on here in Chicago, but they've been here since wintertime. They've been housed by this man since wintertime, so the winter's not going to affect them. They're not going anywhere. This video is already 5 minutes long. I have to go to work.
Anyway, that is a Chicago police officer. And one of the things that she said that should concern everyone is that there's nothing they can do to these people. Very amazing. Anyway, guys, if we have any questions or comments, we can take those. Otherwise, we'll end this at about an hour in here. Any questions or comments, I'll put the link up. Give me 1 second here. And here is the link. And I'm going to go through some of the comments here. I saw Nas 415 put up a comment. I have a question. Good morning, sir. Do you think they're bringing these people here to breed with us? Nah. Hell no. A lot of these people want to breed with it. You know, if you're Haitian, you want you another Haitian. It's just natural desire is to want someone that, you know, shares a lot of the same cultures as you. So I don't think that's the reason there. I think it's more or less I say South Africa. Other people say Brazil. I don't think they're bringing in enough pretty women to make this Brazil. So I want to say South Africa, where all of the lower classes are more or less fighting with each other while the rich people are, you know, running off with all the wealth. That's what I tend to think. That's why if you look at COVID, you look at all of the policies, the low interest rates and the high interest rates, all these things, what they call it, yo-yo. The little man and the bigger man is able to hedge his interest rate risk or hedge inflation. I've shown you the article from the Hilton CEO where he says inflation doesn't matter to him because he can change his prices up and down whenever he gets ready. I can do the same thing. One of these days, I'll show you my Airbnb calendar. We'll just go through it. We just change the prices as we go. As my rooms get booked up, sometimes I've start raising the prices, right? If I only have 2 more rooms left on Airbnb, those last 2, you know, just like the dope man, he's going to get the most he can get for the last, you know, when the supply gets short. What ended Steve Young's career was not so much the hit. I mean, the hit ended his career, but it never should have happened. That was Lawrence Phillips' fault. Bill Walsh never wanted Lawrence Phillips on his team. Undisciplined player. I think he's in prison now. But he missed that block by Aeneas Williams. Aeneas Williams had a straight shot at Steve Young. Never should have had that straight shot. That was Steve Young's. Was it his blind side? Maybe his blind side, yeah. And because he's left-handed, so he would have hit him from the back. I think Aeneas came from he was a right corner left. I can't remember, but yeah, I remember that play. I was a big Steve Young fan. What is the difference from the college hit and the NFL? You know what I say it is? Liability. That's what I say it is. The NFL has financial liability because it's like an employer. The NCAA is not an employer, hence no liability. That is why the NFL is in such trouble. The students playing football in the NCAA are just athletes, student athletes. They're not employed. And in America, employment labor law means a whole hell of a lot. I hope that answers your question. I think that's it. Great show, John. I appreciate that. Big, any other questions, comments? Otherwise, I'll end the stream. And you guys should go over to our other stream right now. We're just testing out some things here. And let me see if I can show you the other stream for the people that have not visited our other stream, we run 24 hours here. And I guess you could say sometimes we run more than 24 hours because we are sometimes streaming simultaneously, which means that we end up with more than 24 hours sometimes. And so for those of you that may be new and want to check out our other channel, you can always check that 24 hours a day. And you can find that here, and we can probably jump in and see what they're talking about here before we get out of here today.
Way of doing it. Don't expect other people to do it. Like you.
Oh no, I had to teach my husband how to wash his meat.
Your husband has no choice, but the rest of us do.
That's what I learned about it.
You're right. He doesn't have no choice.
The 12 man saying he likes to boil pussy.
And so anyway, what we do, we can get over to there. And we can head over there and see what they're talking about and razz Stanley a little bit. Anyway, that'll be the end of the stream. And we'll probably do this weekly to kind of recap some of the things that we talked about and maybe add on to some of the things that we discussed, that we didn't discuss, but that did occur during the week. Again, if you have real estate questions, feel free to email them to me. Airbnb questions, feel free to email them. I think I'm a pretty good resource there. I can help you out if you have real estate questions. Once again, thank you for joining.